First one is the main panel. You can now drag it around and place it wherever you want and even resize your window. If I can only, oh my god, there you go. Woo! I also fixed a bug that would target objects that were invisible because you were in local view. So if I press this, you can see it's no longer a problem. We're now correctly targeting this, even though there's a lot of objects that are sort of in the way. There's a new hotkey, or rather an old one that does something slightly different this time. So let's say this is our pivot point. We like exactly where it is. We simply want to reposition it or realign it. So we move this right here. And if we press T, we can enable align only mode. So now I can do this and the pivot stays exactly where it is. So what the T key does is it only sets the orientation, but it doesn't set our transform pivot point. So it's a bit harder to see if you don't already have a gizmo enabled, but it is working. So you can now reuse your existing pivot point, but still use Pixie to align it to something else. There were some performance issues in edit mode. So if you are in edit mode and you have a lot of geometry or just a heavy scene and the targeting is lagging, simply go into the add-on preferences and disable this option. There might still be an initial hiccup while things are calculating and caching, but afterwards it will be buttery smooth. However, this is not a magical give me performance button. There is a drawback, and that is that you can no longer target anything that is outside of that edit mode. So only disable it selectively. Oh, secret hotkey. You can use numpad minus and plus to resize this little gizmo, and the asterisk to reset it. There's another secret hotkey that never should have been secret in the first place, and that is the restore pivot. By default, it is the same key you use to activate the tool, unless you change your hotkeys, obviously. So you can now do something like this. Set Pixie multiple times to multiple locations or orientations, one after the other, and then when you're done and you want to go back to the original Blender settings, you press D to activate it and D again to reset. And you can see it goes back to its original settings, global and medium. I was a little unsure on what to do with the 3D cursor. That simply resets to its previous location. So if it was here and I do this, it just goes back there. There are a few settings to control this restoration option. For example, you can set it up to always return to Blender defaults no matter what, which is global and medium point, or you can set it to restore to something very specific. And the 3D cursor also has options. You can set it to always restore to the world center, for example. You can't snap to every object type yet. However, you can at least snap to things that are representable as a mesh, curves with radius, or even metaballs. So we can enable it, and you can see we can still snap to these as if they were normal geometry. You can also set the origin for multiple objects at a time. So if I do this, I set the pivot point to individual origins. You can see that their origins are all centered. I can now activate Pixie, set the origin to be right here, and now we set the origin for all of those objects to be in the same location. I don't know if that's useful. This does not mean we have full multi-object support. For example, if I try to enable bounding boxes, you can see it's still giving us an individual bounding box. But hopefully that'll come later. And this is an old feature, but for anyone that doesn't know, you can actually place and align your pivot point in one go. Simply activate it, click, and then drag. And that's it. You don't have to switch modes or anything like that. When multiple modes were enabled, the mouse HUD could be a little bit wide, and I tried to alleviate this by setting the align only mode to just be a little lock, but sometimes it's still too much. There's a new mouse panel setting that you can switch from names to hotkeys, and now it makes the mouse heads-up display a little bit more compact, with each letter representing the key you would need to press to disable that toggle. Maybe icons would be better in the future. There are a lot of other tiny fixes that I didn't feel worth mentioning, bugs, performance improvements, but I changed so much of the code internally that there's a chance I might have broken something else, so please let me know if you encounter any issues. And thanks to the people that have been patient enough to test some of the earlier versions of this release.